Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World in the Black Business School. And the reason I am in a different location with a super bland background is because I am in New York right now. And in New York, I am here to have some business meetings here. And there's also Alicia's birthday. So, birthday time, we take a little trip. So I love New York. It's a great place because there's a lot of really just busy, industrious people here, smart people here. Everybody from, even the white people are impressive in New York. I go downstairs and I see all them busy on their way to work, and I'm literally walking across the street to get some coffee, and I'm wearing my pajama pants and a pair of slippers, and I'm in the middle of Manhattan. So it's kind of funny, like I'm like, wow, I'm literally walking around in my bunny slippers. They're not bunny slippers, they're house slippers, but Anyway, but I mean, and the black folks here are so smart. I've always had an admiration for New Yorkers, especially people I've seen rise out of New York and become successful. Like I was talking yesterday about Jay-Z and how, you got to really give it up for somebody who was smart enough to rise above the other tens of thousands of black dudes in New York that wanted to be rappers, and he became the king of New York and a billionaire and all that. You don't do that by being average. Luck can't carry you that far. So big ups to Jay-Z on that. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't hit the thumbs up button. Also make sure you join us at blagenough.com. That's our social media platform. If you are tired of Facebook and you want something different and you want something where you won't get banned for being too black, go to Black Enough. But you got to be black enough to join Black Enough. So just remember that it's very, very black. Good morning, Duke the Bully, and Natural Holistic, and Al One, and everybody else saying hello. So good to see you guys. I want to actually talk quickly about this NFL strike. Possibility of the strike. I think it's important to talk about it because as a black man, I have a heart for all the brothers that are out there really giving it all, to playing these sports, committing their lives to these sports. I was really excited to hear that they were thinking about striking. I think it's a great idea. I think that a strike is a no-brainer in my opinion. The NFL, like LeBron James said, the NFL is kind of like a plantation. I think he compared it to a plantation, or that they're slave masters or something like that. But I love that. I think that's great. I think that that's a reflection of the growing consciousness of the black male in America, because black men have to advocate for each other. And also we'd love it for black women to advocate for us too, and there are a lot of sisters that really do advocate for us as black men. But then there's some women who say, let me just go and marry Prince Harry or some rich white man so I can get away from from all of this niggatry that I see amongst black men. But there's a lot of us that really want to do better in our lives, and it's not easy as a black man. You get marginalized from birth. I mean, literally the marginalization starts when you're in your mother's womb, and they're putting Planned Parenthood clinics all up in the hood trying to get your mama to abort you before you're born by telling her like that you should die because because she doesn't have enough money. Well, shit, if having enough money is a criteria for being born, I sure as hell wouldn't be here. Most of you, I don't know if you grew up poor like me. If you grew up poor, if you grew up where you know what it's like to get the lights cut out, throw your hands in the air. If you know if you know the feeling of like where you can look in the fridge and tell the difference between the day before mama gets paid and the day after mama got paid, raise your hand. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. Like that's like real shit. Like black people go through that. So to me, the idea that we shouldn't even be here because we don't have enough money is ridiculous. Like if you're gonna, again, I'm pro-choice. Just so you know, I believe people should have the right to make their own choice. But I'm also pro-intelligence. I'm anti-stupidity. So to me, silliness means like, if you say, well, I don't want to have a baby because the baby isn't going to have enough money. Babies don't care about money. Babies don't even have bank accounts. Like all the baby cares about is love, man. A lot of y'all got rich. Y'all rich on money, but poor on love. When it comes to love, you broke as hell. You're morally bankrupt. Whatever, man. So seriously, like we need love for the kids. It ain't just about that dollar bill. But anyway, with that being said, the black male is marginalized from the time that he is in his mama's womb, and then it continues all throughout his life. I know that feeling very well, and I've been at the highest of the educational spectrum. When I got my PhD in finance, I was the only African American on the planet to get a doctorate in finance in that particular year in 2002. I searched high and low, searched everywhere. To this day, I still have not found another black person anywhere who got that same degree that year, because it was that difficult to get. And literally, even being at the top of the educational spectrum, I'm sitting there thinking, well, I'm in the nosebleeds now. I'm at the top of the mountain. Master done told me that if I get to the top of the mountain, that the racism is going to stop, that I was just going gonna get treated like a regular human being. I'm not gonna be no nigga no more. And I get up there and you're like, wait a minute, they still have racist white people up here? Shit. This sucks. So for the black man, you know, it's not easy. It's always a fight. There's always so much happening, you know, in the world where we gotta like constantly battle, and we don't have advocacy. You know, white feminists, they get together as a group and they take down anybody. They got, you know, with the Me Too movement, they sending away brothers like Albert Wilson, you know, for 12 years to prison when he didn't even touch the damn girl, or he kissed her. I think he got sent to prison for a kiss, and she had a bruise on her thigh. They were together 5 minutes. Look up Free Albert Wilson. That's the hashtag, Free Albert Wilson. He was with the girl alone for 5 minutes, and no sex happened. He kissed her, and she was all over him. She wanted to fuck him, but yet somehow she said, well, because I was drunk, you raped me because you allowed me to jump all over you. I've never heard anything that crazy in my life, but it's happening to black men. So basically, the black man is always a target. The black man is always being kicked to the bottom of the barrel. The black man is always getting you know, attacked by other people. And I just say we have to fight back, and we got to organize. Black men got to understand organization as much as we understand entrepreneurship, which entrepreneurship ain't really nothing but a form of economic organization. Like, the more money you have, the more power you have, and the more you organize to achieve your economic goals, the better off you are. Nobody needs money more than the black man in America. If you go to Chicago, the average black male between the ages of 20 and 24 does not have a job. The average black male between the ages of 20 and 24 is not educated. The average black male between the ages of 20 and 24 is about 2 steps away from a casket or a prison cell, right? So ultimately, and this isn't just Chicago, this is every city across America. So the black man is kind of in this really crazy situation where we got to either rise up or die. Like, we got to connect or just burn in hell. Like, since we got to grow, elevate our game in order to win the damn game. You know, because the athletes and the entertainers are winning, but who's not winning are all the young brothers who wanted to be athletes or entertainers and came a little bit short. So we got to find a way to make sure black men are winning and organizing as a group and as a collective. So that is one of the reasons why I was very happy to hear that the NFL players were thinking about striking. I think the NCAA athletes should strike like a motherfucker. I think the NCAA athletes have the biggest human rights and labor rights violation on their hands that's been seen in American history since slavery, or maybe since mass incarceration, which also happened to affect black men more than everybody else. They have the biggest antitrust law violation on their hands in American history. The NCAA they violate antitrust law on a regular basis. Google, Apple, I think Google, YouTube, Google and YouTube, same company, they're all under Alphabet, but Google and Facebook and another company, I believe it might be Apple, are all being investigated right now by the feds for antitrust law violations. If you want to know what that means, that basically means that you're using monopoly power to harm people, to harm your workers, to harm your consumers, to harm your competitors, to harm the business climate. The NCAA is a textbook case of antitrust law violation. The only reason they get away with it is because nobody cares if you're economically raping a black man. Nobody cares if you're raping a black man. If you're raping a white woman, if you touch a white woman's booty, if you tell her that she looks good in her dress, then you will be defined appropriately as some sort of harasser and assaulter or whatever it is. But you can go rape a black man. You can go do a Cardi B. Cardi B went on Instagram. Cardi B, God bless her for testing out my theory and proving me correct. Cardi B went on to Instagram and told 20 million people that she used to drug men and rob them and set them up with a tranny so they can be raped. And nobody said a word. Nobody. Now it's back to business as usual. Cardi B's out here. She got a new song and everybody's like, yeah, you heard? Yeah. She might have raped a few black men or stole all their money or whatever it is, or set them up to be raped, right? Same thing. You're still getting fucked, right? But did y'all hear her new song? Her new song's jamming. Or move on. That's old news. Well, since when did the harming of another human being become old news? I mean, Bill Cosby, allegedly, they're claiming he did some stuff back in the 1960s and 1970s, and nobody's acting like that's old news. But for the black man, it's like, okay, you got a 3-day news cycle to complain about your shit, then we're going to move on. So the black male kind of is the cockroach of America. The black male gets stomped on, ignored. We are the most likely to be sent to prison. We're the most likely to be unemployed. We're the most likely to be marginalized from society. We're the most likely to die early, and the most likely to get fired on our day off. Like really, we get fired on our day off, like Chris Tucker on the movie Friday. So the black man needs to organize. The black man needs to organize socially. Big ups to Colin Kaepernick, for what he did. I think he could have did more. I ain't gonna lie. I really felt like he should have done more. I feel like Cap was kind of being quiet because he wanted to get his money, and Cap got his money, and then it's kind of like, okay, well, What else? What's next? What's the next move, Cap? We need your leadership. Cap's like, man, I'm being quiet because I'm trying to get paid. Okay, all right, well, okay, well, just go be quiet. Go sit in the corner. We'll go find some leaders that ain't scared. We're gonna get it. We're gonna find our real Muhammad Ali. But maybe LeBron. Maybe LeBron could be that guy. It ain't like Barack Obama. Barack Obama isn't really, he ain't doing a whole lot. I ain't gonna lie. Farrakhan, now that's your guy. That's your man right there. Farrakhan has consistently advocated for black men since I don't know when. How many? Can you name any other people out here that are really consistently advocating for black men? Like seriously, can you name anybody that's really out here just fearlessly advocating for black men? The biggest thing that happened for black men was when Robert Smith went and paid the money at Morehouse. He paid the student loans of the Morehouse grads. So anyway, let me get back into it. This is why I appreciate the strike. I appreciate the strike because black men got to organize. We can only win fights if we organize. We have to fight as a unit, and we got to fight hard for what we believe in. We got to fight for ourselves and advocate for ourselves and each other. Nobody else is going to do it. And so I saw Jalen Rose, who appears to be quite a fearless advocate for black males, especially black male athletes. And he just seems like a cool brother. I ain't never met Jalen, but I like Jalen. And the thing about Jalen is, Jalen has a lot of insights into a lot of things, and he was speaking on this idea of NFL players going on strike. Now, Jalen laid out his reasons for the strike. I'm actually gonna. I wrote a couple of notes so I would not forget. Do me a favor, by the way, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, by the way, if you are a black man and you want to join our organization for black men, you can join for free. Go to blackmenunited.net. That's blackmenunited.net. Yeah, I see Dr. Umar, D.O. Hughley, and Killer Mike. And that's true. Those guys are doing a good job. I like all those guys. I think that the question is, how influenced are you by outside agendas, right? I think that Killer Mike, unfortunately, he gets a little hamstrung by his connection to the white liberals. So I'm always curious to see how he juggles that. But he does a good job. I'm not complaining about Killer Mike at all. I know all three of those guys pretty well enough to point to areas where we've agreed and areas where we've disagreed. But you're absolutely correct. There's nobody in mainstream, like nobody say in Hollywood or whatever. But at the same time though, those guys are doing a good job. So we do have three out there, right? White women got 1,000, we got 3, so that's a fair trade, right? All right. So anyway, let me keep going. So a few things that Jalen mentioned as far as why NFL players should strike. One, he talked about guaranteed contracts. He was basically saying that in the NFL, you're playing with monopoly money, that even star players like Donovan McNabb, he pointed out his situation where I guess he got traded to the Skins right after he signed this $84 million deal. And he was basically saying that that there are no guarantees, that you get your money, you get whatever money they promise you up front, but then after that, they can cut you for whatever they want. And there is no sort of conversation about long-term protections or anything like that for the players. Also, he mentioned the marijuana policy, which is about the most archaic, ridiculous thing in the world, in the sense that we've decided that marijuana is no longer this horrible, dangerous drug that's going to tear people or kill people like maybe cocaine or crack or whatever. We've decided that marijuana should be legal, where hippie white people in Denver can go set up little shops that look like Apple stores and sell marijuana, and it's okay, it's acceptable, it's encouraged. But yet still the black male, again, being the cockroach of America, the black men are the only ones who are still locked up for silly things like weed possession. Like, we're still in prison. We still have black men in prison for weed possession, and you got white guys right across the street setting up marijuana dispensaries, moving more weight than 50 drug dealers could do in a lifetime. But yet somehow we think that this is a fair society. It's the most insane stuff I've ever seen. So marijuana policy, Jalen made a good point. He said, have you ever heard of any baseball player, any golfer, any of these white sports where people are getting suspended for smoking weed? And they were like, no. And he's like, you're right. So, but it's only in the NFL, and I think the NBA, if I'm not mistaken, I think the NBA does that too. Like it's like, what is it that like y'all just think that weed is bad when black men smoke it, but it's great and it's wonderful when y'all do it? And this goes back to just the whole flawed layout of the war on drugs. You guys saw me and Russell Simmons work on that back in 2013, where we got the Obama administration to change their policy on the war on drugs and on weed and basic things like that. So shout out to Russell for getting all his celebrity friends on board. Will and Jada signed the letter we wrote to the president, as well as Kerry Washington and Jamie Foxx and Chris Rock, and we had about 150 people that were on that list. And so anyway, and that got the Obama administration's attention. It took a lot of work to do that, and Russell really held it in because they put pressure on him. They didn't try to pressure me because they don't, they know I wasn't going to change my opinion. But with Russell, I think that it was more like, because he's more mainstream celebrity, they put a lot of weight on him, and Russell, to his credit, stood by the black man in that situation. And I remember talking to my manager at the time and kind of saying, like, I'm really impressed with this guy. He really believes this. He's really doing this because he believes in it, and I never forgot that. So anyway, moving on, hit the thumbs up button, please. If you're watching on YouTube or something, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, don't forget, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. Next, he talked about the draft, how you have to wait 3 years out of high school to go to the NFL, which is kind of just such a ridiculous, arbitrary, stupid rule. And of course, they're going to say, well, we do it because we want you to be safe. We want to protect you. But yet, they're not thinking about that when you got like 95% of your players have like significant brain damage, and they get to the age of 33 and they can't even remember how what school their children go to, or how to find the bathroom when they got to go pee, right? Seriously, this is what's happening to these guys. Just so you know, in case you're thinking about putting your son in football, I know you got talented kids. I know that we got these little organized leagues that are designed to recruit black males to play football, and I'm a big fan of football. Look, I'm kind of a bulky guy. I got a little, look at that, I got a little muscle. I've always been stocky, right? And I was fast. I was faster. I raced. I literally, in high school, let me tell you my background on football. In high school, I was captain of the track team. So the football coach would make the football players go out for track so they could get their speed up to get ready for football. But I didn't want to play football because I just didn't have the attention span. Honestly, I couldn't remember the offensive. It was confusing to me. I just honestly, it just wasn't interesting. I had ADHD or something. But anyway, so they brought all the football players out, and I'm like, who are these motherfuckers coming and trying to take my spot on the relay team, right? So we had to have a runoff. We had to race. I had to race the fastest sprinters on the football team to earn my spot on the relay team, right? So we all lined up, and there was 9 of us. And the coach said, "Mark, get set, go." And the football players had a lot of explosive speed, so they jumped out like a couple guys jumped out ahead of me in the first 40 meters. But the thing was, I knew how to run. And anybody who knows track and field knows that to run fast, you don't run hard. Like people that think you got to run, they ball their fists up, and they go, they start running like that because they think that makes them run faster. Actually, that makes you run slower. With running, you have to relax and let it flow. Just let it come out, right? So I relaxed. I let it flow. I lifted my knees, which lengthens your stride. And I just reeled that sucker in like a fish. He was way out. I reeled him in, and I passed him up, and I beat him by about 7. So I literally out sprinted every single player on the football team. All the fastest players, I beat all of them on that day, right? So they wanted me on the football team pretty badly. They wanted me because they saw I had big muscles and I was super fast. So why wouldn't you want me to play football? Well, because my dad never really pushed that on me. My dad never really talked about sports as important. My dad would tell me, like, sports don't matter. It's your education that matters. That's what's going to make you successful in life. What you think you're going to be in the NFL? And most guys don't never make it to no NFL. He would say dumb shit like that to me. And of course that pissed me off because I used to, be like, man, why are you trying to kill my dream? But he's right. He was 100% correct, that it was my education that got me to where I am today. It wasn't my extraordinary athletic ability. Let me say that. So the thing is, with our black boys, we got to let them know that there's options other than playing sports. White people set up all these damn leagues and everything else, and this massive infrastructure to recruit black boys into football at an early age. And I think that that's okay if you want to do that. But I think sports should either be seen as one of many options, or it should be seen as a pathway to something bigger, a grander purpose. Like, okay, I know I'm a competitor from sports, so I'm going to be a competitor in life. I was a winner on the football field. Now I'm going to be a winner in the classroom. I was dominant when it came to dribbling basketballs and throwing footballs and winning championships. Now I'm going to win championships when it comes to being a father. I'm going to win championships when it comes to building the biggest, strongest as companies. I'm gonna win championships when it comes to making straight A's in the classroom, right? Like that's what you got to do, right? So that's what I did. That's what fueled me, and that's what made me great. So sports played a part in that, but sports was not the be all end all of anything. And a lot of these guys have brain damage. I know a lot of former NFL players. Two things I know about NFL players: one, most of them don't make that much money, and two, most of them have brain damage, the CTE. And then three, most of them have tremendous destruction of their body at an early age, because when you're losing your football career, you're kind of losing a piece of yourself. And so a part of you is dying when you can't play that sport anymore, because you've defined yourself by that sport, because after all, that's what you've been good at. You've been a star at this your whole life. So when you stop playing the sport, you kind of just deteriorate a little bit, and it's almost like if your back's against the wall. And when your back's against the wall, you become desperate. When you become desperate, you do desperate things in order to survive and to keep your dream alive. So the desperate things you might do might be, injecting some steroids in your body. It might mean playing when you're injured. It might mean doing other things that are going to harm your long-term health because you don't care. It might mean not telling your coach when you got hit in the head and took a damn concussion because you don't want him to take you out of the game, right? All these things, and then what happens is that shit catches up with you, and then you get a man that unfortunately is not always in a position to be a good husband, good father, good asset to the black community. Why? Well, because the sports used him up like a hoe. The sports used him up like, like imagine if all the black women had to go spend 5 years as drug addicted hookers for 5 to 10 years on the streets as hookers, sleeping with 50 men a week, and they had to do that 5 to 10 years before they then came out and became mothers and wives. We'd have a whole fucked up community if all of our mothers and wives had to go through 5 or 10 years of drug addicted hooker training and go through the streets of New York, sleeping with every man they walk by, right? Now, it sounds like an extreme example, but really, if you think about that, you think about what sports in a bad situation, we've all seen the bad stories. We've seen the good ones, we've seen the bad ones too. In the bad stories where some guy who could have been anything, who could have been great, who could at anything, chooses sports as his only focus. That's what he's into. He's into the culture. He's into the women, the weed, the liquor, the excessive spending. He's into all the other things that come along physically with, the physical damage that comes with playing the sport, the psychological damage. He's given all his time. He's not educating himself. He isn't spending any time reading. And then what happens is when it's all done, you get this guy, unfortunately in many cases, this guy who's 24, 25 years old, who has a 5th grade reading level. His body's all fucked up from playing the sport. His money's all fucked up. His credit's fucked up. He has no financial security whatsoever, nor the ability to provide that for a woman. He has no other alternative skills, like he can't go start a business, doesn't know anything about any other profession other than playing the sport. So he might have like a liquor, weed, and pill addiction to go with all of that, right? And a string of babies mamas and child support courts chasing him down, trying to take whatever little money he's got. He's like a used up, drug addicted hooker that's now trying to go off and become a spouse. Right? Do you follow me? Do you follow what I'm saying? I hope you get with the logic here. Y'all know me. I can't just talk about just the core issue. I got to talk about the issue around the issue inside the issue, the game inside the game. There's a game being played inside the game, and the media ain't gonna give you that. So I got to give you the game. I got to break the game down for you. And so in fact, I'm telling you that when it comes to the game of sports and the game of life, the black male should not just learn how to win the game. The black male needs to learn how to change the game. If the black male can't change the game, then the good chance he's gonna lose the game, because the white man designed that game to make you play it, and you wonder why you keep on losing. So anyway, let's dig deeper into this. Just a reminder, don't forget this podcast is on iTunes. So iTunes and SoundCloud. So if you look up my name on iTunes and SoundCloud, Boyce Watkins, you can find it there. Also, I'd appreciate it very much if you shared this video, especially you share it with young brothers who need to hear this message. Black men don't get mentorship. That's why we get screwed. And I lend myself to the community as a mentor, as an asset to your life to help you. If you're a single mother and your son ain't listening to nobody, then give him $10 and pay him to listen to this video. Whatever it takes, put it inside your kids' brains. Also, if you want your children to learn financial literacy, we at the Black Business School have developed assets to help you get that done. Low-cost tools, like we have financial workbooks for children. We have financial flashcards for children. If you want to take a look, you can go to financialworkbooks.com and financialflashcards.com. So please feel free to check those out. Financialworkbooks.com, financialflashcards.com. Everybody loves them. Everybody, is finding a way to use them, especially in the summertime because your kids don't have much to do. All right, hit the thumbs up button. All right, so next, another thing Jalen was talking about is, let me see, he mentioned, so he mentioned that, somehow in the collective bargaining agreement, the players would want to try to change that 3-year rule. that says you have to be 3 years away from high school in order to play in the NFL. I don't think the players are going to want to do that. I think the 3-year rule, it's a little bit like an abortion law, to be honest with you, in the sense that if you look at abortion laws are the babies don't get a vote, right? The babies that are not here, nobody, they're not going to vote, right? So the only people voting are the people that didn't get aborted, right? So the way I might vote as a person who never got aborted is going to be different from the way a baby might vote. Like if my mother, they tried to get my mother to abort me and she didn't. And if I had gotten a vote, I'd be like, hell no, I'm in here. Like, wait a minute, hold on, wait, let's not get too hasty now. Let's, I want to live too, right? But I was a product. I was something in my mother's stomach at the time, so I didn't have a vote. So the same thing is true when it comes to these 3-year laws, this 3-year rule with high school players. The high school players, the young guys in the 8th grade now or the 5th grade now who are going to be trying to get to the NFL, they don't have a vote, but they're going to be affected by this rule. The people voting are going to be current players and current owners. Current players and current owners all have an incentive to keep the players out of the NFL for as long as possible so that they can, the players' incentive is, look, I don't want to, I'm 26 years old, 27. I don't want to compete with a young 20-year-old kid who's coming out of high school or a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old. I don't want to compete with that. I want to keep my job. So he's going to vote against it. The owner wants the player to stay out of the NFL because if he doesn't go to the NFL, he's got to go to college. If he goes to college, what does that mean? That means he gets branded. So by the time he gets to the NFL, people know his name. People know who he is. You're able to sell more tickets because the NCAA has exploited him and used him for a year, but they've also made him a household name. He was a star at the University of Alabama. So now you're bringing him to the Dallas Cowboys and people will buy tickets to come see the Cowboys because they know you got this star, right? Everything's about branding. It ain't about sports skill per se. It's about branding. If you have something that will sell, it's like think about it. The Kardashians don't have any talent whatsoever. Kim Kardashian and her sisters, the only talent they have is like plastic surgery maybe, or taking the perfect selfie, right? They don't have any talent, but they're a brand. That's why their family makes probably a couple $100 million a year, right? So, but you consider something else, like there's people out here there that can sing better than Beyonce that nobody knows about, right? Well, why aren't they making money? Well, because it ain't talent. It's branding. It's who knows your brand? Who knows who the hell you are? Why do you think I'm wearing this t-shirt that says blagenough.com on it? It's branding. It's because I know Black Enough is great. I know Black Enough is excellent for black people, but I need to brand it. I need y'all to see it. I need people to know about it. I need people to want to go and participate in it, right? So branding's everything. Branding is everything. So in the NFL, you don't want these talented yet unbranded players coming in the league because that's not going to help you sell a ticket. Nothing matters if the NFL can't sell tickets. So there's more to it, but that's pretty much one of the big factors, I believe. Next, one thing he did not mention that I think is critical is I think that they should fight for long-term health care plans, because when you are 40 years old and your brain is starting to deteriorate from all those hits you took to the head and you have the brain disease CTE, the NFL has not done a very good job of providing adequate health care for those individuals who are affected by CTE. So ultimately I would throw health care in the mix. Please throw the health care in the mix. And I saw Jalen mention a couple other things that I thought were interesting. I agreed with all the points he made: marijuana policy, guaranteed contracts, all that. And I wish they changed the 3-year draft rule, but I don't think they will. He mentioned that basically 100% of the players spend all their money on their first contract. He said 100% of the players spend all the money on their first contract because you're 23 years old, you got millions of dollars, you have all these relatives that you want to help out, all these friends that have businesses you want to help out, all that stuff. And I think that's unfortunate that we have to just accept that as a reality. Like, yeah, we know that they're going to blow $8 million because that's just what young people do. Well, that's not always what young people do. There are young people out here who have managed their money, who have taken care of it. There are young people out here who had a good time with money, but still found a way to build for their future. Those typically tend to be young people who get advice from older people, who have their best interests at heart. So Shaquille O'Neal, when he got to the NBA, he was 21 years old, I think. He left college college a year early, if I'm not mistaken. The draft was so big, it was called the Shaquille O'Neal sweepstakes. Everybody knew he was the #1 pick. There was no question. It was the funniest thing. It was so racist. They gave the white boy by the name of Christian Laettner. They made him player of the year because white people just like to believe in their great white hope. But the real people who really understood sports didn't even consider Laettner as a #1 pick. Like if you held a sports show and said, should Christian Laettner be the #1 draft pick? That show wouldn't even be on the air because it would have been a joke. Because Shaq was the guy. Shaq was the most dominant college player I have ever seen to this day. Zion Williamson is great. Ain't nothing on Shaq. Shaq was like a man among boys. But Shaquille O'Neal goes to the NBA, gets max deal, all the money you could get. This is back at the time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe at that time rookies still were making big contracts. Shaq got a fat-ass deal with a ton of money and a ton of endorsements to go with it. And you know what Shaq did? Shaq got his mama. I believe his mama was like his first employee. And he hired his mama. He said, Mama, don't let me get stupid with my money. Right? Because you know I can be stupid because I know the mama knows best. So his mama said, okay, baby, I got your back. So his mama would take, I think, 80% of his money and put it away. 20%, he could ball out. Now, 20% of, $5-10 million a year, whatever he was making, that's a lot of money. You could act a motherfucking fool with 20% of $7 or $8 million. Like, that's enough money for you. You can buy Lamborghinis. You can go to the club and be the biggest baller in the club. You could buy you several houses. You could have side chicks. You could go pay for vacations. You could buy all the fanciest clothes. You could do everything you want with 20% of whatever Shaq was making at that time. And the reason Shaq could go spend this money guilt-free, if that was what he chose to do, is because he knew his mama was taking care of the other 80%, man. It ain't about, see, that's the thing. People think that financial intelligence and financial security is about being miserly and rubbing your nickels together and only spending money if you really feel like you really need those shoes at Payless, like you really need. I thought about buying extra groceries, but I didn't want to because I want to be financially responsible. No, man, ain't nobody like that. I've never been like that. No, you don't gotta be. You can spend money. You just don't need to spend all your damn money. Like seriously, you don't. I mean, it's like dieting. There's nothing wrong with eating a piece of chocolate cake every now and then. But the problem comes in is when you eat the whole cake and all you eat is cake all the time, every day. Then you're going to die. You're going to become obese and get diabetes, and you're going to die. But there are Olympic athletes who've eaten chocolate cake. So giving yourself a little bit of fun money is not an issue. Shaq just knew how to do things in moderation. That's what he knew, right? So Shaq goes to the Lakers, and Shaq literally said something that I thought was great. Even back then, I was in grad school at the time, but I knew a lot about finance. I was teaching college students finance when I was 22 years old. So I was like the LeBron James of finance and economics, because wasn't no other brothers doing it. I literally was younger than some of my students. Like I was like kind of like a boy genius a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, I probably was like a little bit of a boy genius. So I'm teaching finance and I'm watching my favorite players. I'm still a black man though, right? Always been a black man, been one since for as long as I can remember. And I'm watching Shaq. Shaq's my man. I'm watching him dunking over people, tearing down the rim, doing these amazing things. And I remember hearing something that I thought was so great. Shaq went to the Lakers. And it was a big deal when Shaq went to the Lakers. Anybody, I don't know if anybody else remembers that when Shaq went to the Lakers, he had this big Mercedes with this big Superman S on the front of the Mercedes, and I was like, oh man, that is so dope. I was a kid, I was young like him, same age actually. And here's the thing about that. Shaq said at that time, I remember I was really fascinated by this, intrigued by this. He said that when he was playing for the Lakers, he said, I was still living off the money I made from the Magic. I want you to sit and think about that for a minute. Please process that for a minute. He said, I was playing for the Lakers, but living off the money I made when I played at the Magic. How many players do you hear saying that sort of thing? The only other person I've heard really say something that was that extraordinary was Kawhi Leonard. I heard Kawhi Leonard lives like a really basic lifestyle. like I don't know, but I mean he's an NBA superstar. He's becoming the next Michael Jordan in the eyes of some, and he just lives this really basic lifestyle. I'm impressed by that. Andre Iguodala. I've heard about the fact that Andre actually loves investing and analysis or whatever more than he likes basketball or something like that. I could have sworn I heard something like that. So you're hearing these players saying these things that are so intelligent, and I'm so impressed by that. But you still have, the white man trying to push coonery on you, trying to get you to think that a black man is supposed to act like a damn fool. Like when I was watching the other day and I was talking about this, I ranted about this for a second when I saw the Migos, three grown-ass black men on a Mountain Dew commercial, and these Negroes were on fucking big wheels. Like, think about this. A black man you a father, you a grown-ass man, and you on a damn big wheel. A grown-ass man ain't got no damn business on a big wheel. A big wheel is for a child. But they want the black man to be a child. A black man is never seen as a man in America. The black man is always seen as a child. So that's why they got these damn Negroes looking like damn fools, speaking that gibber, like that dude, whatever the hell they say, whatever that shit is coming out of them, and they're riding big wheels, and you're a grown-ass man riding a damn big wheel. Black man, how you think the world's going to ever respect you when you walk around riding a damn big wheel? Get the hell out of here, man. That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. Ain't no real man gonna be. If Mountain Dew's like, hey, we think hey dude, we have a great idea for a concept for this ad, man. How about you and your homeboys ride up on big wheels and make bird tweeping noises, and that would be so cool. Like everyone would love that. I'd be like, well, how about you ride a damn big wheel, motherfucker? Seriously, how about you get on a big wheel and you humiliate yourself and embarrass your people looking like a damn monkey? Anyway, let me keep going. So the black man has to be a man, like act like a damn man. If you don't act like a man, then nobody's going to see you as a man. Seriously. If you don't act like a man, nobody, and building black businesses is part of manhood, because a black man will never be seen as a man if the black man must always beg the white man in order to feed his children. You get no respect when you always begging other men to take care of you. That ain't gonna work. That does not work. Anyway, so give me 1 second. No, thank you. That's the room service. I'm in a hotel, so y'all gotta forgive me. I just tell them to go away. So here's one last thing I heard. Hit the thumbs up button, please. By the way, if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Also, you're watching drboycetv.com. Make sure you subscribe, drboycetv.com. If you like financial stuff, I actually do a lot of financial analysis on daily news and all that. You can actually join theblackfinancialchannel.com, theblackfinancialchannel.com. That's a great YouTube channel we have. Also, I do a masterclass every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. I teach investing. So if you'd like to join the masterclass, please feel free to visit drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. Since you're in here in the podcast, you can actually get half off. Just use the code word PowerNomics. If you use the code word PowerNomics, you can get half off at drboycemasterclass.com. So feel free to go check that out. All right. So one last thing Jalen said that I thought was great. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was really smart. I agree with him. Is he mentioned that top players should subsidize the strike. One of the reasons that it's very easy for owners to negotiate with athletes and to win those negotiations is because owners have an easier time being unified. Remember, I was telling you guys, unity is the key to success. That's why black unity was always such a threat to national security. That's why slave masters put laws in place to avoid black people becoming unified. That's why J. Edgar Hoover said that his greatest fear, the greatest threat to national security, was the rise of a black messiah who could unify the masses. So unity is power. That's why animals understand this. That's why you tend to see geese and wolves and other animals operate in packs, because they know that when they are a group, they're stronger, right? So when you have a negotiation where you got owners against athletes, you've got one group against the other, right? It's like a battle, right? And the more coordinated a group is, and the more they can sort of, choose the right group-related strategy, the stronger they're going to be when they're fighting against the other group. If the group is scattered and kind of all over the place and everybody has their own agenda, right? So, in fact, another example is China. China is rising economically because the Chinese operate as a 1 billion person group. They're a gang with 1 billion members in it, and in this gang, they just go around the world doing what they want because ain't nobody going to mess with them, because China has that level of coordination, and they teach that at an early age. Their children are taught this, that there's no greater service to the world for you as a human being than to do great service for China. Like, you will be measured by how much you're giving back to China. So we need to do that with black children. Like, there's no greater service that a black child can ever have in the world than to be great for the black community. That means you be a great husband, you be a great father, you be a great leader, you be a great teacher, you be a great educator, you be a great contributor, you be a great business owner, you be a great job creator, you be a great whatever. You be a great ally for the community. That's what makes you great. Nothing else matters. I don't really care if you're disconnected from the black community. You're over here serving white folks and they're giving you Grammys and Oscars and fried chicken noodles for dinner and butter biscuit awards. That don't add, you're not adding nothing to the black community, so you haven't done anything great. You're ordinary. You shot a powerful bullet at the wrong target. So who gives a shit? You poured 50,000 gallons of water out of the faucet, but you put it in somebody else's bucket, right? We needed somebody to dig holes. You dug a hole that was 1,000 feet in the ground, but you dug it for somebody else. So you did all these great things. You scored 50 touchdowns, but you scored them for the other team. You put the ball in the basket every time you got it, but you're scoring at the other end of the court. That don't add no points to Team Black people when you're scoring at the other end of the court. So for black folks, we got to understand that power isn't enough. It's power that's connected to targeting. It must be targeted. So we talk about the government doing targeted things to help black people. Well, black people need to do targeted things to help black people. Black people need to do targeted activities that are going to help us and not help everybody else. So one of the things that Jalen talked about is the unity amongst the players. A lot of times owners win these negotiations because the owners, there's like, in the NFL, it's like 27, 28 of them. So it's easy to unify 28 people. That's not hard. In the NBA, there's like 20 something, right? I don't know how many NFL and NBA teams are, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's not hard to unify the owners. Dave, when the NBA owners were coordinated to talk about the strike back in the 90s, back when Kevin Garnett got this massive contract and all the owners did a lockout, David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA at that time, told the owners, you must be unified and unanimous on every vote. You must be, in order to maintain your power. If you are not unified and unanimous, then you will lose. You have a shot at losing. And that's what he did. Every vote, it'd be like, the owners voted 28-1 to proceed with this blah, blah, blah. Today, the owners had a vote, and they unanimously decided that blah, 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 blah. Every announcement was like, the owners all got together and every single fucking one of them decided that they want to do the same thing. Why? Well, because Stern held it together. He was like the black messiah holding together the masses, so to speak. He wasn't black, but he was the guy that had the power to create unity, right? That's why J. Edgar Hoover had the fear of a black messiah who could unify the masses, because when you have that one alpha character that can unify everyone, that person and that movement becomes incredibly dangerous. So for the athletes, the athletes would get beat in the negotiations because the athletes didn't have that unity. The athletes had all this like, well, I need a contract now because I got to make payments on my Benz, or I got 4 babies mamas and they want their child support, so I need y'all to go ahead and make a deal now. But then you have the rich athletes who are like, well, I'm good, I got plenty of money, I can wait it out, or they're like, well, I don't really care about this part of the deal because I got a max contract for 150 million. But then the guy next to you got a contract making literally 1/50th of what you're making, and he's saying, well, I actually need the money, so we gotta do things a little bit different, right? So you had all these diverse interests. You had what you might call heterogeneity, if you will. Heterogeneity is when things are just different. When homogeneity is when everybody's on the same page. That's China. China's a homogeneous country. NBA athletes, NFL athletes are very heterogeneous. They're all over the place, because you got everybody from the superstars that got the $100 million contracts to the rookies that are barely on the roster because they got picked in the 7th round, right? Or maybe they didn't even get picked at all. They got picked up after they tried out for the team. So getting all those people on the same page is going to be difficult, but Jalen threw in an idea that I thought was excellent idea. He said that he believes that the wealthiest players should make the sacrifice by contributing to a fund so that they can help pay the living expenses of the players that are on the bottom of the economic spectrum. I thought that was a great idea. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but I think I think that a great athlete, a great leader, somebody who's respected in the league, or if maybe a coalition of 10 of them got together and put pressure on the other high net worth athletes to do this, I think that could actually work. And why is that important? Well, as Richard Sherman mentioned, Richard Sherman, smart guy, went to Stanford. Richard Sherman, who played for the Seahawks, Richard Sherman said, the way the NBA, in NFL, NBA and Major League Baseball got what they deserved was by striking. Assistant college football coaches used to get screwed financially. They got what they deserved by striking, right? So a lot of times you got to strike, take away your labor, just say I'm not playing until you pay me right. If you ain't paying, I ain't playing, right? But then you also need legal action, right? You need lawsuits filed. So I think lawsuits need to be filed, especially in the NCAA level, massive lawsuits, antitrust violations. I'm sure there are lawsuits in place right now, but I think there should be more. And also, I think the players need to just say, I'm walking off the court. Why? Well, because black men, you have power. You have all the power. You got all the cards. Can't nobody play basketball or football like the black man. Nobody. Ain't nobody. Show me one white guy in history, one white guy in the history of all sports who could do what Zion Williamson does on the court. Point one white guy. Give me just one. You got 60 years. You go back 60 years. Give me one white boy who can match Zion Williams. Now, by the way, Zion Williamson ain't the best we got. We've had better in the black community. We've produced, about 50 guys, 100 guys that could be arguably considered better than Zion Williamson. I mean, we still got Kobe. We still got LeBron. We still got Shaq. We go back. We got Oscar Robinson. We got Wilt Chamberlain. We got all kinds. Football. We got Jim Brown, who used to run down entire teams, like run over 14 people on his way to the end zone. We even had Okunin-ass O.J. Simpson, who was an extraordinary running back, by the way. We got supermen to spare. Like the black man, we so with it, we so powerful that literally our scrubs can dominate the greatest athletes that you can produce. So I just need you to give me one guy who's white who can match Zion Williamson. Not now, not this year, in the last 60 years. There ain't none. There ain't none. Go to the NFL or NBA. Is there a white Zion Williamson in the NBA? Has there ever in the history of long history, man? We've been playing basketball for a long time. Has there been one white guy who could do what Zion Williamson does? Nope, not one. And that's just Zion. I ain't talked about the guys who actually won championships. I didn't even mention Michael Jordan. My God. Oh, I forgot. We got supermen. We got superheroes to spare. So I forgot about Michael Jordan. Yeah, I didn't think about. I forgot. Oh well, I forgot about Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley. I mean, you can just keep going. You can't find a white guy that can do what even average black superstars are able to do. So the black man, you've got all the power in this. You hold all the cards. All the resources are in your community. Black mothers are producing, when they give birth to these extraordinary super babies, you're the launching pad for all these amazing human beings that are coming out later. And I don't even know if the term launching pad sounds bad. It's not meant in that way at all. It's meant to say that there's nothing more powerful than the womb of a black woman. There's nothing more precious and powerful and amazing, because you're literally producing, platinum out of your vagina. Like you're literally growing something that is a multi-trillion-dollar commodity right out of your bodies. Like, God bless the black woman, most precious and amazing, extraordinary creature on the planet. And we know what the black men are contributing. So what I'm just trying to say is that you have gold right there in the hood. You got diamonds right there in the hood. You have platinum right there in the hood. You have trillions right there in the hood, and you're producing it, which is almost like printing money. So you hold all the cards. You just need to have the courage to use them. That's it. You just got to grow the testicles to put your cards on the table and say, dominoes, motherfucker. Like, seriously, like you need to have the guts to stand up and just say, like, we know how powerful we are, and we're not going to let you take that away from us. Period. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. Good luck to the guys in the strike. If anybody in the NFL or NBA, I don't make a lot of friends. I don't reach out to a lot of people, but if somebody from the league needs my consultation or wants me to help, I'll be glad to tell you what I know and support in any way that I can. I met with an NBA player yesterday, Etan Thomas. I really like this guy a lot. It was about a business venture that he had, and I told him I want to support it. But I just want to see these guys win. I want to see our community win. And part of winning means having a good strategy and also having courage. That's just what it is. All right, so I'm about to go, guys. Hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, when can a new league happen? Starting a new league? Well, Ice Cube has the big three. I think that's a great start. And then there's other leagues out here. We just got to support them. So if you hear about it, if I heard about one in Arizona, but a guy I met in Arizona. If he hits me up again, maybe I'll bring him on or something. We could talk about that. But every business can be extremely successful if people support it. So that's why supporting black businesses is really important. As you guys know, in the Black Business School, we believe in the black core of three, which is that black people should educate our own children, create our own jobs, and support black businesses. If we do those three things, then we would lead. That would be a multi-trillion-dollar wealth transfer in the hands of black people. Our community's economic problems would literally vanish overnight if we just spent maybe half the money with ourselves that we spend with white people. If we did that, then we wouldn't have to ask anybody for jobs. We'd have everything that we need. We'd have all the reparations that we deserve. So anyway, I'm gonna go. Go sign up at blagenough.com. That's our social media platform. So if you are black enough, join Black Enough and hang out with us and be a part of the tribe. It's open enrollment now, but we're going to shut that down soon. I already talked to the tech guys about making it invitation only because I don't want anybody and everybody up in there because I don't need no snakes and spies and COINTELPRO Negroes up in there. We just black people in there trying to talk about what matters in our community without worrying about being banned by Facebook. So feel free to join us at blagenough.com. Also hit the thumbs up button, share button, subscribe button. Please share this video. Also, if you want your kids to learn financial literacy, we have financial workbooks and financial flashcards we created for black children. You can go to financialworkbooks.com to take a look, or financialflashcards.com. Or if you want to check out my new book, Black American Money, you can actually go to blackamericanmoney.com. That's blackamericanmoney.com. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. It was real. Stay black. Stay woke.